episode 3, and week 2 was it was a bit of a mess. It was chaos, but in the best possible way. Big hits, insane catches. Some teams looking like they forgot how to play football, though, buddy. And yeah, so the Eagles are still flying though, and it was a bit of a nail biter though. Even I was yelling at my TV this week.
Yeah, and the Lions actually made me proud for once. They bounced back after a tough week 1 loss and
Oof, did they
smoked
ever?
the Bears. But yeah, man, it's been chaos through the first 2 weeks, and we've seen some rookies stealing the show. We've got some vets embarrassing themselves out there. And
Yeah,
let's be honest, a few of these games were just straight up nasty, but in a good way.
exactly. I mean, from miracle catches to kicks that kind of defy physics.
Right?
Week 2, it served up the chaos for sure. So strap in, Bravonians. We're gonna break it all down, and we've got the weekly recaps. We've got like Calvo mentioned, the rookies that are standing out. We got some matchups that we're looking forward to, and of course, we've got our locks and dogs of the week.
And dude, you can't forget one of our most favorite segments ever. Oh, you nasty.
Oh, you nasty!
Ah,
We gonna get it. So
sure. Well,
let's
what do you
jump in, buddy.
think? Yeah, let's jump right in.
I
So,
think we should jump into week 2. Some score road. What do you think?
sure. Well, we'll start with the Thursday nighter
Yeah, man.
and the Packers, man, they just continue their dominance,
Oof.
especially Jordan Love, 292 yards passing, 2 touchdowns. And the Commanders, they just kind of looked off sync all night. And um, Jaden Daniels got hurt in this one too, sprained his knee, and that probably impacted some of the game plan there as well. But they just couldn't get their run game going. Where the hell was Bill?
Where was Bill indeed? But you know what? Thank you, Green Bay. As an Eagles fan, don't mind seeing the Commanders lose. So Green Bay is scary though, 2-0 and one of the best defenses in the league. They already were one of the best defenses in the league. They added Micah Parsons. So yeah, man, if Jordan Love's on his game, like this team is terrifying.
Well, and what's scary about that is they're really limiting Micah's reps right now, and he said it's pissing him off. And
Yeah,
maybe that's like, poking the dog in the cage there and just getting him all riled up before you
for
let him out,
sure.
or the bull, snapping the nuts before the guy goes out and rides him for 10 seconds, whatever it is. But man, yeah, Green Bay's a wagon right now, and hopefully that stops very soon.
Speaking of a wagon, though, buddy, these Indianapolis Colts,
Woo.
are they the best team in football right now? Like, holy shit.
Man,
29-28 win over the Broncos, and that's tough because the Broncos have one of the best defenses in the league. Daniel Jones, dude.
well, I don't know if they're still dating, but maybe dating K Adams put a little juice in this guy. Apparently, he found the clutch gene somewhere down the road. But man, they haven't even punted through 2 games.
You know, all you have to do in this league, dude, if you want to be the best player in the world, all you got to do is leave the Giants. Saquon Barkley last year, Daniel Jones this year.
Right. Or
That's it.
date a rocket. I don't know.
Or did it right. Okay, yeah, that's it.
Sure. But yes, this one was a nail biter, 29-28 for the Colts. And Broncos kind of shot themselves in the foot a little bit. The defense has kind of looked a little whack over the first 2 games
Yeah.
compared to last year, but they're just killing themselves with penalties and some defensive lapses. But I'm sure Sean Payton will get that ironed out for them.
Colts 2-0 though, buddy. And another 2-0 team, the Arizona Cardinals. My man, 27-22 wins over the Panthers. It was not close until the end. Bryce Young kind of
Right.
had a big second half, right? And
Yeah.
hopefully kind of turning things around for Carolina. They're spinning their tires there at 0-2, but yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And Cardinals, they're always just that one of those teams that you never hear anything about, but they just quietly plug along, right? And looks to be no different this year.
I
But
kind of I kind of thought coming in, like I kind of thought Arizona had a clear path to 10 or 11 wins. Like they looked really good last year in kind of in spurts. They had flashes, and I think like this was definitely the year. This is definitely they're going to start putting that together.
we have to think they only have a certain amount of window with Kyler, right? And
Yeah.
he's been in the league long enough now that he's got to start figuring it out, or else they're going to move on.
Well,
So,
he's got weapons. I mean, Trey McBride is fantastic, one of the best tight ends in the world,
mhm,
and Marvin Harrison in his sophomore year. It seems like he really only can get better at this point. So
right. And the savvy vet, James Conner.
happy bet James Conner, and they got Trey Benson in the backfield as well as a rookie. Is he a rookie? Trey Benson, sophomore maybe,
No, yeah,
young guy
sophomore.
anyway.
Yeah,
But yeah, he's. I mean, when you got a 1-2 punch like that in the backfield too, like that's a scary team.
right. And dude, who would have thought? Game of the week, Giants versus Cowboys.
I
What a
mean,
thriller.
I never would have thought, but like, can both teams lose? That's
I
kind of
mean,
what I was
you'd
hoping for.
prefer that.
Yeah,
I would have hoped that just straight out the Cowboys lost because really, let's face it, are the Giants really going to do much going forward? Probably not. But Man, what a game. 40-37 in overtime for the Cowboys.
And like the Giants looked good. I thought Russ Wilson, 30 completions, 450 yards passing. What is that all about?
Look at
Yeah, there you
I
go.
had to wear the jersey
You
today
got the
just
Russ
to
Wilson
rep
jersey.
Uncle Wilson. He's turning back the clock,
Russ Wilson, QB1, 450 yards passing and three tutties. Dang.
right? And
And
my
I mean, Malik Neighbors went off though.
he did. And my boy Cam Scadaboo got his first TD too.
Yeah, he did.
Just pummeling through. But I think the
Scadaboo,
star
45 yards on the ground and a touchdown. But yeah, Malik Neighbors, 9 catches, 167 yards and two touchdowns. Wandale Robinson had 142 yards receiving and a touchdown. Like Russ cooked.
Oh, you nasty neighbors.
But I mean, Dallas got it done in the end, right? Dak was pretty
Right.
good too.
Yeah. But I mean, I
361
think
yards and a couple teddies.
despite all those stats, though, like the only guy that's getting any real love right now is kicker for the Cowboys, and that's Brandon Aubrey.
Yeah.
It's the game tying and the game winning field goals, and they weren't small field goal shots either.
Well, wasn't the game tying one like 64 yards or
Yeah,
something
it
like
was
that? It was
stupid.
ridiculous. I don't know how, like, this guy could kick from anywhere on the field. I'm
Right.
convinced he can make it from 80.
I think, like, man, it had the distance. Like, I don't even think it was questionable if it was going to make it. It was through. So,
Javonte Williams had a game. He almost had his first 100-yard game as a Cowboy. 97 yards, fell just short, but he scored a touchdown as well. So, yeah, those two offenses on display. It was a game of the week for sure.
well, the game of the week for me was the Bears versus the Lions.
Oh, well,
and,
yeah. Let's go.
52-21. Hang a 50 burger on Ben Johnson. I fucking love it. And man, the Lions offense was just on fire. Goff and St. Brown. Goff had 5 touchdown passes. St. Brown had 3 of those. And man, just plays everywhere for the offense. And you just love to see it. And the only thing I don't really agree was the crowd was chanting "fuck Ben Johnson," and I mean, he did a lot of good things for him, and I'm salty that he left too. But I mean, he did a lot of great things. I don't think he necessarily deserved that from the crowd.
There's
But
no need to
hey,
chant "fuck Ben Johnson" when he's just like, you can't fault a guy for jumping at an opportunity to be a head coach of an NFL team.
no,
Like any of those fans wouldn't do the same fucking thing, right?
I agree. But
Yeah.
I mean, hey, if you're gonna boo Matt Stafford, you're probably gonna boo Ben Johnson. So
Yeah,
it is
true.
what it is. Take that, Ben. Welcome
Yeah,
back.
you're right though. Jared Goff, what a game, man! Completed 82% of his passes, 5 tutties, and I mean, St. Brown, what a game! 3 touchdown receptions. That's crazy.
It's nuts, man.
52 points. That's Detroit's back.
Hopefully a sign of things to come. But
Yeah,
we'll talk about it later. But tough matchup coming up this week.
yeah.
But yeah, the
Who do
game.
you got? The Ravens? Yeah, we'll talk about that later. But
Yeah, of
yeah,
course.
okay, man. What else? What else you got on tap? What else we want to cover here?
Well, another game that was kind of a nail biter was the Patriots versus the Dolphins.
Ooh, that was a great game, actually.
It was back and forth, and especially for two teams that kind of struggled in week one, we saw a little bit of offensive resurgence for both. But
Yeah.
the Patriots just did a little bit more, winning 33-27. So
I felt like this was going to be the outcome of this one, and Drake may look great. Talking about great looking quarterbacks, this guy 230 yards passing. He completed 83% of his passes. He didn't turn the ball over either. 2 touchdown passes, no turnovers. That's just a tidy game from Drake May, and I think you protect him and give him some time to make some reads and make some throws. You're going to get a lot more of that out of New England, and a bit of an underrated defense there too. And obviously they didn't look amazing this game, but yeah, I mean Patriots can start putting things together here pretty quickly. 1-1 now.
well, and that's what coaching will do for you, right?
Yeah.
I think you're going to see some significant growth out of Drake May this year.
I'm on board for it. I don't have anything against Drake May. Like, I feel like I hated New England just because of Tom Brady for like so long.
Right.
And I'm back on board with not hating New England anymore because they've been bad for a few years. So I don't really have a reason to hate them anymore.
Right.
So yeah, good on them.
Absolutely.
I mean, the Dolphin offense there wasn't too bad, and hopefully, you mentioned it kind of off the top. If they kind of fall to 0-3, 0-4 to start this year, probably going to have to answer some questions pretty soon about their coach and whatnot, maybe some player personnel there as well. But Tua, 26 for 32, 315 yards passing, couple touchdown passes. Tyreek went over 100 yards receiving, so maybe showcasing his ability, like, hey, I can still get it done if you want to trade me to a contender.
Right.
So
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens in Dolphin land here, because again, they're in deep this week playing the Bills.
Yep.
And
that's a loss.
again, yeah, if you start 0-3, 0-4, there's already lots of talks that McDaniels lost the room, and I don't think that team has enough to get it done. If you go down 3 or 4, games, they ain't coming back.
Yeah. Yeah.
So speaking of not coming back, the Ravens versus the Browns. I don't
Yeah.
think much to talk about this one. Just an absolute demolishing of the Browns by the Ravens, 41-17. So
Yeah. I don't think anyone's surprised by this outcome. Lamar was great. Derrick Henry was not great, but
no,
he didn't need to be. So,
exactly.
yeah.
So yep, let's move on from that one.
Yeah, man.
Some big news, I guess, out of this
Yeah, it's
next
pretty
game.
big news. It's pretty big news. Yeah.
Jaguars versus the Bengals.
Yep.
The Bengals still found a way to come up out on top, 31-27.
2-0 Calvo, but at what cost?
2-0.
I st-
It costs us everything. Joe Burrow,
Ah,
or as I like to call him, Glass Joe from Punch Out. This dude's always injured. Probably no fault of his own. It's probably what happens when you spend all your money on 3 players and don't pay an O-line.
you gotta fortify the trenches, Cincy. Come on.
Yeah. And I cheered the loudest, I think, the year that Cincy decided to take Jamar Chase over Penei Sewell. And
Yeah,
the
you love
rest
that
is
move.
history. I cheered so loud when the Lions drafted Sewell. But could you imagine if Sewell was on the Bengals, how much different that offense probably
Oh
looks,
yeah,
just
Joe
protecting
Burrow
Joe
would be so
Burrow,
much better. Yeah, exactly.
right?
I
But
put
here we are.
I put a lot of eggs in the Joe Burrow basket for my fantasy teams this year. I think I have him on 3 of my teams. So here I am scrambling here to start week 3 to find a serviceable quarterback. I'm in trouble in a lot of my pools here already.
You don't want Jake Browning? He's
So I,
probably won more games than
uh,
Joe Burrow over the
but
last 3 years.
probably actually. So I actually did go out and pick him up in a couple of pools. It was okay when he came in. Like he threw 3 picks, not great, but I
Right.
mean he still threw a couple touchdowns, like and led the team to a win, right? So
Wins a win, man.
win's a win, and the Jags. I still think they're good. I still think they're going to win that division. Indy scares me a little bit, but I still think the Jags are good. T-Law was all right, and they got it done on the ground too. Like Travis Etienne and Bashul Tutin both went over 5 yards of carry. Tutin, this is a guy who didn't even get to really play week 1, and you weren't sure what his role was going to be. But as soon as they traded Tank Bigsby to the Eagles after week 1, now all of a sudden Tutin's got that backup role, and he looks good. He looks dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, Tootin was one of those running backs that you knew wasn't going to get drafted super high,
Yeah.
but always had this like breakout potential, especially once the landing spot was the Jaguars. There was all this talk in the offseason that they weren't happy with ETN, they weren't happy with Bigsby. It was
Mm-hmm.
the old regime's players. Well, here's ETN almost leading the league in rushing yards and crushing it under this new system.
Yeah,
And
man.
then you got Tootin to kind of switch up the pace a little bit. Yeah, they look good in the backfield.
Yeah, 1-1, and they look like they can make some noise this year. So, speaking of making some noise, the Seattle Seahawks, I think, quietly have one of the better defenses in the league. You don't really hear about them too much, but they kind of shut down the Steelers. They won 31-17. They go to 1-1, and yeah, the Steelers obviously fall to 1-1. They did not look great. They did not look anything like they looked in week 1.
No, but I think, much different opponent. The Jets are not very good, probably pretty easy to score on. The Seahawks defense, though, there's a lot of chatter about them right now as being one of the most elite defenses in the league at this point of the season, anyways. And obviously, it's a small sample size, but usually you think of the Steelers as that, and then you hang up 31 points on them. And you kind of questioned me before while I was wearing a Seahawks Russell Wilson jersey for way back, and
Yeah.
secretly they've always kind of been my second favorite team, but it's always Detroit first. But it kind of makes me smile, especially to see the Steelers lose. I love it. Still
Seattle
on their
won.
way to that 9-8 record.
Yeah, they sure are. Seattle 1-1, last place in the NFC West right now at 1-1 because the Niners, Cardinals, and Rams are all 2-0. That could be an interesting division again this year, man.
Maybe that's the NFC North of this year.
Could be,
maybe
could be.
3 teams coming out from that side of things. But
Yeah, man.
yeah, one team that probably won't have to worry about not winning their division is the Buffalo Bills, and they
I think they've already clinched.
might as well,
Yeah.
especially after this week. But they laid a beat down on the Jets, 30-10. So again, we talked about the Steelers and the Jets and how offensively awesome they were last week, and both struggled mightily this week. Now, I think the only thing really worth talking about from this game was that Justin Fields left with a concussion. He's going to be sitting out this week, and Tyrod Taylor is going to be starting in place for him for the Jets. So
Yeah, I mean, I actually when I looked at this game, I had a weird feeling about it. I kind of thought it may be a trap game, just considering kind of how Justin Fields played in the first game. But yeah, obviously when he left with the conky, Tyrod Taylor wasn't terrible when he came in, but he's definitely not the guy that's going to lead a team like the Jets to a win over one of the probably the best team in the AFC right now, the Bills.
Right.
But yeah, I mean he's got another chance to kind of run with it next week, and we'll see how long I guess Fields is out.
Right. So moving on.
Yeah.
One game that was actually extremely close until kind of like the third quarter or so, halfway through, was the Rams versus the Titans. And the Titans were giving the Rams all they could handle for a little while there. And then the Rams blew it open 133-19. But it was just after halftime, like I said, the Titans were hanging around. Cam Ward looked pretty good, got his first touchdown pass of the year. And man, I think that's a little, glimmer of hope for the Titans fans if he can keep doing that.
So the Titans are projected to be one of the worst teams in the league and in contention for that first overall pick. But like I really don't think this is a terrible team, especially if Cam Ward is going to keep playing like that. Like he made a couple of crazy like acrobatic throws. There was one year he was like going down, he was about to land on his knee, and he somehow like pitched it sideways to his receiver. It wasn't a huge game, but it was turning getting something out of nothing. Could have been a sack. And then the touchdown throw where he completely was running to the sideline, throws it across his body, basically to the other side of the field.
The one thing you're not supposed to do as a quarterback.
Exactly, but it worked out for him. I mean, the chances are more often than not, that's going to get picked,
Right.
but it worked out for him this time, and it was a pretty cool little highlight to watch. So, I mean,
Right.
they hung around. Like they weren't blown out. The Rams kind of ran away with it late and won by a couple scores. And the Rams are 2-0, and we know that they're a very good team. They, showed that last year. But I mean, watch out for those Titans, man. They might be able to make some noise in the next couple of years, especially if Cam Ward keeps progressing.
Watch out for those Titans, buddy.
So,
But what's
yeah, man.
funny, right? Like if that was like Mahomes that made those throws, oh my God, he's so great. He's done
That's
this.
it.
Cam Ward doesn't. Nobody even talks about it.
That's it. Yeah.
So just funny. But yeah, hopefully, like I said, a little glimmer of hope for Titans fans moving forward. But um, one game that I was actually really looking forward to, and it ended up being pretty big stinker, was the Falcons versus the Vikings.
Yeah.
And especially after how week one went, both teams were right in it the whole way through. Um, just to fall a little bit short on the Falcons side, right? And then the Vikings obviously had that big comeback over the Bears. But man, JJ McCarthy just did not look good. He sustained an ankle injury as well, so he's going to miss the next few weeks, which is opening up the door for ex Eagles, name a few other teams quarterback Carson Wentz. But I mean, this is the way it goes sometimes, right? And I think the Vikings will be fine, but it's one of these things that like, how do you go from an epic week one comeback basically to just coming out super flat in week two?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's rookie growing pains, right? JJ is probably going to have a few more games like that, over the course of the year. But I think the Falcons are. I think the Falcons are a really good team, and we've talked about how they're probably the most talented team in their division. When you're going to hold the Vikings to 6 points, put up 22 yourself, I love their offense. I really like their defense. I mean, the Bucks are probably like I know you picked the Bucks to win the division. I think the Falcons might do it. When we did our preseason picks, I picked the Panthers. I'm gonna still stick with the Panthers, but the Falcons are fucking a good team, man. I like them.
I think we're just a year too early when we were talking about the Falcons last year, but I
Yeah,
think they're right in the mix there for sure. But
they just had
speaking
the
of the
wrong guy leading them most of last year. That's all. Old man
absolutely,
Kirk.
but who has the right guy leading them right now? And it's the team that I picked to win the division once again, the
Yeah, man.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Monday nighter against the Texans, and man, this game was phenomenal too. Kind of a, I don't know if phenomenal is the right word. It was just close enough to make it interesting,
Yeah.
and exciting. But Buccaneers sneak out a last minute win over the Texans, shocking them, moving the Texans to 0-2. Bucks are 2-0, but 20-19. Baker Mayfield with the clutch gene again, late drive. Man, can you say enough about Amika Ibuka? Like this dude's already tied for touchdowns for the league lead. It's a rookie.
Yeah.
This kid's awesome. Maybe we'll talk about him in a little bit here, but man, Baker, incredible again. These my favorite moment from that game gets tackled by CJ GJ, hurts himself a little bit, but instantly pops up and just talking trash,
Yeah,
and then acts like nothing even
it
happened.
was a great clip. And that scramble that he did on 4th and 10 to basically save the game, run for 15 yards and a first down, just all kinds of guts in that guy.
Oh yeah.
Give him early front runner for MVP.
Who who also called him being
You called
MVP
it.
this year?
Yeah, you called it. Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
go. Baker.
I'll give you your flowers for now.
Let's go.
We're only
Now
2 weeks in though. Let's pump the brakes a little bit here.
right. I know.
But yeah, I mean, Emeka Ibuka, like a lot of guys come into the league as rookies, and that nervousness, right? You've got the yips a little bit. You're going to drop some balls. You're going to be nervous to contribute at this level. But this kid just looks composed. He's making his catches. He's scoring touchdowns. Like he
Yeah.
looks good right out of the gate, and I like it. T-Bay 2-0.
Yeah. Well, Baker said in the preseason that Ibuka is a stud and he's going to
Yeah,
contribute right away. And one of my favorite storylines from week one is Mike Evans said in that last like game winning drive, Ibuka was like, just throw that ball to me, man. I'm going to route this cornerback and I'm going to torch him.
and
And
he did.
sure enough, he did and scored touchdowns. So it's awesome. Bad news a little bit though for the Buccaneers. Kalijah Cansey tore his pec. He's going to miss the season. So that's a big blow to the defense there.
Yeah, that sucks for them too. And just move to the Texans here real briefly. Are we? How soon can we get concerned about C.J. Stroud?
I mentioned it last week, and
Oh my
I'm
God.
very like he looks like a shadow of
The
himself. I
the
don't
opening
know.
drive was nice. He had a beauty little dime to Nico Collins for that opening drive touchdown, and then again just didn't do much the rest of the way. It just kind of a repeat of week one and a repeat of a good chunk of last year. Like, what is happening to this kid?
I know. You know, his first year, he seemed like he couldn't miss, and then
Yeah,
last game and the game before that, basically all he did was miss. And like if you look at the final stages of this game on Monday night, the Texans were down on the goal line. They were first and goal and couldn't score.
yeah.
Tried to run it twice and then threw it twice and couldn't score.
Threw it away 2 times. Yeah,
Yeah, and not even close, like
yeah,
launched.
yeah.
So yeah, I think it'd be valid to say it. I want to say he's too good for that, but I think it's valid to be a little bit concerned, at least at this point.
Yeah, that's embarrassing. You can't get down to the opponent's one and put up 0 points in
Right.
a clutch situation like that. You just can't do it.
Nope. Absolutely. Well,
Yeah, we got
you're
one more game
treated
to talk about here, though. The Monday nighter,
the
double
dub.
header Monday nighter. Yeah,
Yeah.
the
Yeah, you
late
don't get
game.
to see that too often and at 10 p.m. at that. And for us old guys, I actually stayed up to watch the entire game, and I think the last 5 minutes watched me actually. So
Yeah, they did. I was at work, so I was working night, so I got a chance to watch all of it. And I really like this Chargers team, dude. 2-0, and they look good. Justin Herbert picking up where he left off last year. The defense picking up where they left off last year as one of the top defensive units in the entire league. They forced 3 interceptions
yeah,
of
it's
Gino. Gino did not look great. He was uncomfortable all night, and you got to credit that pass rush by the Chargers, right?
well, and here's another thing, right? Like think of how many times that everyone was saying the same thing that we just said about Stroud about Justin Herbert,
Yeah,
right? And sometimes all it takes is, just a little bit better coaching, more experience, right? In Harbaugh coming in there,
yeah,
trusting Herbert to throw the ball. But I think the big thing that the Chargers have going for them right now is that they can run the ball. And that is opening up the passing game for Herbert to have the success that he's having right now. And yeah, they look good. They're a bit of a wagon, and I see that they're now kind of the favorites to win the West.
D'Amico Ryans, the coach of the Houston Texans, was a linebacker. So he's a defensive-minded coach, and I really love what he's done with the defense in Houston. But you're right, is he the guy to get the most out of C.J. Stroud, the way Harbaugh is kind of getting the most out of Herbert right now? And yeah, it makes you kind of wonder, right? If Houston, it might do a Miami, right? If they kind of go 0-4, or they scuffle out of the gate the first half of the season, and they've only won 1 or 2 games, do they make a switch?
I don't know if they'll make a switch yet, just because D'Amico's brought them to the playoffs for 2 straight years, right? So I don't know if that'll necessarily
I don't
happen
know.
right
It's
away.
a what have you done for me lately league, right? So I don't know.
Yeah, I know. I think the problem with the Texans right now is their run game is just shit. Like Chubb's stat line looked all right, but most of that came on that final touchdown run.
Yeah,
And there's really nobody behind him. Like Woody Marks looked all right, but Ogumbawale hasn't been great.
yeah.
Damian Pierce was a healthy scratch. So like they just don't have anything going for them right now.
And is Joe Mixon going to be back this year? They're like really keeping their cards close to the vest on this one. So Nick Chubb, yeah, he's had some pretty gruesome injuries. So how durable is he? You kind of want Joe Mixon back, but there's some of the things I'm hearing, man, like he might not even be back this year now, and they're just
Right.
not really announcing it. So a little bit scary, a little bit of a scary situation going on in Houston. But yep, we
Right.
kind of got off track. Those Chargers
No, no,
look
but
good,
that's
2-0.
okay. We'll,
Yeah,
we'll tie it back in. But this is
yeah,
exactly why the Chargers went out and got Najee Harris,
yeah,
right? A consistent back that
yeah,
maybe he's not going to put up 100 rushing yards every game, but you know he can block, you know he can catch,
yeah.
and he's going to run the ball down your throat, right? And then you switched up with Hampton, and Hampton took a little bit of step back this game, which again, that's rookie growing
He's a rookie.
pains.
Yeah,
But the the Texans don't have a Najee Harris.
no,
They've got an old version of Nick Chubb,
yeah,
which the guy's
exactly.
still a beast. He looks phenomenal, but he just doesn't have that explosiveness anymore. But
Well, no, his knees have been destroyed.
right,
So
showed a little bit of it though on that touchdown run. But
yeah, I think he had like what 45 yards rushing in the game, and 25 of them were on that one touchdown at the end of the
yeah,
game. So
exactly. So
yeah.
you know what though, all in all, pretty good week too.
Well, hold on. We're not going to get out of here without talking about my Eagles real quick, aren't we?
Oh yeah, why would you talk about them?
Because they're 2-0 and they're the defending champs, and they knocked off the freaking Chiefs.
That's true.
It was funny though because the Eagles ran the tush push 6 times, and now here again, you're hearing it all week. All the football talk is about, oh, ban the tush push, ban the tush push. They got 4 first downs and a touchdown out of it this game, and a lot of people are saying that's why they won and that's why they're winning. No, no, and I think Jalen Hurts is, or even Philly's last like 16 games or something like that. The turnover ratio is I think 38 or 39-9. They're winning because they're taking the ball away from the opponents and they're not giving it up. But we can
I
talk
think the
about the tush push all we want because that's all people want to fucking say, that
I
the Eagles
fucking
can
hate
only
that
win because
play.
of the tush push.
Well, that is the only reason they win, and
No,
they're
it's
also
not.
cheating because they're offside every single time, and it's not
It
getting
happened
called.
one time, and
It
it's like
happened.
fractions of seconds. It's so, come on, man. Don't be that guy.
I'm gonna be that guy.
Don't be that guy.
Yes, Eagles are 2-0.
Yeah, man, and my boy Saquon got it going. Saquon Barkley, 88 yards on the ground, got his second rushing touchdown of the year. I mean, it's Saquon, man. He's gonna do what Saquon does, and this team, here we go, we're rolling 2-0, and the Chiefs at 0-2. I fucking love it.
And see, it's crazy.
Love
Like
to see it.
you saw the chirping back and forth at the end of the game there, and
Yeah, with
I
Chris
mean,
Jones.
but yeah, it's
Jalen says, "We won the fucking game. Shut your ass up." I love
right,
it. It was cold.
pretty epic moment there. But
Yeah.
as a receiver though on the Eagles, just like I've talked about since Hurts has come in here, you got to be super frustrated. All you're doing is running cardio all game long.
I mean, it depends how much you care about individual stats. I think that they know that this is kind of the team's identity, and it's like, do we care about putting up 100 yards receiving every game, or do we want to win games and win championships? I think they're kind
Okay.
of on board. I could
I
see,
don't care what they think, Bradley. I play fantasy sports and I'm all about the individual stats.
yeah, well, if you care
Okay.
about fantasy, for sure, but like I care about winning, and the Eagles win. Who cares how it looks? They get the
Fair
shit done.
enough.
All right,
Fair
man.
enough.
Let's go. That's week 2. That's a wrap on week 2. Let's go into let's talk about some rookies. I know
Yeah.
we kind of touched on it a little bit. Let's talk about a couple of rookies who are standing out here through the first couple of weeks.
Right. And yeah, we just talked about him, but Amika Abuka.
Yeah.
And if you're looking at it, yes, the G is silent. So it is Abuka. But yeah, this kid, you can't say enough about him. Like I
No.
said, he's just been a straight stud for the first 2 games. I think he's dealing with a little bit of an injury right now. He popped up as questionable on the injury report right now.
This is
But
football. Everyone's questionable every week at this point.
right, pretty much.
Yeah.
But like we said, he's got 3 receiving touchdowns through the first 2 games. That's tied for the NFL lead, as mentioned, with Amon-Ra St. Brown from my Lions, who put up his hat trick this week to tie him, and then Roma Dunze, of all people, from the Bears. And I can attest, watching that Caleb Williams to a Dunze connection versus the Lions was pretty frustrating, especially early in the game. I thought maybe they're going to take over the game a bit and have the Lions chasing from behind, but luckily we were able to withstand that a little bit. But yeah, hey, Dunze was another one of those players last year that maybe didn't get quite the opportunity that his hype suggested he would, with
Yeah.
DJ Moore being there and Caleb figuring stuff out. But
Well,
Yeah. Hey,
I think a lot of
Abuka.
players make that leap in their second year, and obviously Odunze and Caleb Williams are both in their second year, so they've had that first full year in the NFL to just kind of learn, and now they're
Yep.
building that rapport. And I really think we're going to see a lot more of those two lighting up the score sheet going forward.
Absolutely. And another offensive rookie that's kind of taken off, and everyone really thought it would be the case anyways, but Teteroa McMillan from the Panthers,
Yeah, man.
he's looking like the threat that they thought he would be. And even if you look at week 2, he had 100 receiving yards on just 6 catches versus the Cards, and he played 72 snaps. So like the opportunity is there. And let's be honest, like I mean Hunter Renfrow looked pretty good for the Panthers too, but
Yeah.
is there really going to be that much competition for him?
No, Hunter Renfrow is a journeyman. He's been around for a while, and he's a good receiver, but he's never going to be anyone's top receiver. Ted McMillan's a big boy, and he can make those contested catches. He's fast. Bryce loves him. So
Yeah. And he's
yeah,
just a monster.
he's a monster, and he's good. And like I really like Ted McMillan. I think he's gonna be one of the best receivers in the league, probably within the next couple of years.
They said he's basically like Megatron's size with Evans route running.
That's it. Yeah, the hands are ridiculous on him.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Dangerous. Well, we can't really just talk about the offense though, right? Because there's always going to be some defensive rookies that stick out as well. And Michael Williams from the 49ers, edge rusher, he had 5 total pressures, 2 tackles for loss in week 2. Just a really strong performance in the run defense. And that's what you want. You just want this brick wall in the center. And sometimes it's not even just about the sacks. That's a lot of what they say about all these elite edge rushers. It's not necessarily about the sacks, it's about the pressures
Yeah.
and making the quarterback make a decision faster than they should, right? And that's what the true game wreckers are. Sure, the sacks are great. It's usually loss of yardage and downs, right? But
Yeah, but it's unrealistic to think that those are going to happen all the time. But if you're constantly making the quarterback uncomfortable, that's a game wrecker right there.
absolutely. And those are the defensive players I like to watch. The guys that are getting into the backfield constantly or getting double teamed and still finding a way to get through. It's pretty impressive. And so to see a rookie do that in his
Yeah.
second game is pretty impressive.
Michael Williams and the 49ers defense are a big reason why the Niners are 2-0 to start the year because their offense hasn't looked great, let's be honest. And now they've lost Brock Purdy for extended period of time, so they're going to have to turn to Mac Jones for a little bit. So the
Right.
defense is going to have to try and keep them in games for a little bit till Mac Jones kind of gets rolling.
Right. Absolutely. Any other defensive rookies sticking out to you?
Yeah, I thought Noah Williams, the Chiefs cornerback there, I thought he played pretty well against my Eagles there this past week. Third round pick. This guy, he flashed. He flashed a little bit of brilliance in some pass defense. He's got some pretty good ball skills. He's good in coverage. So, I mean, Chiefs obviously still lost, and I love it. But yeah, this kid looks good. And I'm with the turnover in the Chiefs defense of this past offseason. They've really needed some guys to kind of step up, and this guy looks good.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, why don't you give me one more offensive rookie that you're really hyped about right now, and then maybe we'll move on to one of our favorite segments.
Yeah, sure. I mentioned this guy earlier, and I'm a huge fan because I've got him in a couple pools as well, and a couple dynasty pools. Bashul Tutin, 74 all-purpose yards this past week. I know Jacksonville lost, but this guy now moves into that backup role as a running back and got his first NFL tutty. So I really like the look of this kid.
Well, and there's something to be said about that, and I know we kind of already talked about him, but when you trade a player away that you were pretty high on the year before,
Yep.
it's pretty telling what they think of this kid, right? And
Yep.
I joked with you. I used to like Tank Bigsby until he got traded to the Eagles. But to me, like Tank was a big part of that offense. So if
Yeah.
you're moving him to replace him with a rookie, as the year goes on, we all know ETN tends to have a little bit of injury trouble as well. So Tootin might have a real opportunity to take the reins and run with it later here in the year.
I could see it. I could see it. This kid looks good. He looks fast. I think they profile him as faster than both ETN and Bigsby. He's got that speed. He's a tough guy. So yeah, I mean, he could take over. I don't even know if he needs an ETN injury to take over. Midway through the year, I could see him really fighting for a share of those first RB reps.
Absolutely. Well, speaking of taking over, maybe we'll use that as a little segue
Little
into our
segue.
favorite segment. Oh, you nasty.
Oh, you nasty.
And if you are unfamiliar with this segment, what we like to do is take a few key highlights. Now, these can be highlights, they could also be lowlights.
I
And
love
that is the
lowlights.
beauty of this segment. But I think for this week, we're going to focus on some major highlights. And I'd
Oh,
be
I love me
remiss
some
without,
lowlights. Come on, man.
well, if we could think of a
All
couple,
right.
but I think I got one off the top of my head. And
Okay.
but I'd be remiss without starting with this one. You text me in the middle of this game saying, dude, why is this guy so gross?
Yeah.
Isaac Tesla from the Detroit Lions. He has 2 catches on the year.
Two
One's for a
catches.
touchdown,
Yeah.
and they're both the most
They're both
ridiculous catches you're ever going
one-handed
to see.
sideline grabs.
Like, just he's just OBJing all over the place here.
It's stupid. I don't know. Like, throw to him more. How has he only got 2 targets and 2 receptions this year? If he's making catches like that, think what he can do if you throw it at both his hands more
Yeah,
often. Like,
right.
God damn, this kid looks good.
And I highly encourage any of our Bravonians to go ahead and look ahead and just YouTube any of these things that we're going to talk about. Even go check out these rookies that we just talked about. And while you're at it, drop a comment and let us know which rookies that you like. But as a rookie himself, man, he's going to start getting a lot more opportunities if he keeps making catches like that. And
He
Dan
better.
Campbell kind of joked after the game. They're like, man, why don't you guys throw him? And he's like, well, we only use him. We say, hey, we need a one-handed grab down the sideline. Tastes like you're in. Go. Right? I mean, it's just ridiculous.
Just
But
like
if you're
the
going to be
Jude up.
known for anything, I'd think I'd rather be known for that.
I'd be okay with that, yeah. Just like
Right?
the Jude up. Sir.
Absolutely.
This
Isaac
kid's a
Tesla,
monster.
you nasty.
You nasty. You know who else is nasty, though, dude? We talked about him off the top when we were talking about the Giants and Cowboys game. Brandon Aubrey.
Yeah,
Best
man.
kicker in the league right now, I'm convinced. 64-yarder. Like, there isn't. What is this guy's range? I don't know that there's a kick that this guy can't make.
Especially
64-yard
indoors.
game-tying field goal, and then the OT winner he kicked as well. Yeah, exactly. Like, jeez, man. Brandon Aubrey, you nasty.
Definitely. Death, taxes, and Mr. Automatic, Brandon.
Seriously, though.
Right? But, dude, I've been raving about him all year. My call for the MVP, Baker Mayfield. The kid is just tough as hell.
Who?
You already mentioned it when we were talking about the game earlier. His fourth down scramble to
Oh,
escape
my God,
on
man.
that game-winning drive on the Texans. But man, like again, this dude is just a warrior. Got so much shit in Cleveland. Not his fault. Terrible team. But now he's got the opportunity to start for the last few years, have a home in Tampa Bay. This kid's just running with it, and he's just super impressive. But when he lowers the shoulder, I get so amped.
Oh, me
Like,
too. Like, I just love how much this guy loves the game. Like, after a run like that, a scramble like that, he gets up and he's like, he's
yeah.
jacked. I love it. The energy, man. Like, this guy just loves football, and he's nasty.
Well, like I said, he takes a hit, goes down, holding his ankle, gets right back up, starts
Yeah.
chirping. Last year, he trucked a guy too and yelled at him to get his weight up. Like, I just love Baker.
Yeah, Baker's the shit.
You nasty.
The Rams. You know who else is nasty? That Ram defense. I mean, they're picking up where they left off last year as well. That strip sack at Cam Ward, momentum swing, right? The Titans were hanging around that game, and then the Rams said, "Actually, we're going to show you why we're the better team." And Cam Ward has some learning to do in this league, obviously. I can't put the ball on the ground, but yeah, I mean, that didn't really give him much of a chance there. They just swarmed him. So, Rams defense, Rams pass rush. Oh, you nasty.
I'm glad you said that because I hope you get a whole spoonful of them this week.
It's coming. But, we beat them
Sure.
last year in the NFC divisional round, so I think we know how to handle them.
I think I thought of a low light for you, Mr. 87 on the Kansas City Chiefs.
Oh, yes.
How about you learn how to catch, bud?
You nasty Travis Kelce. He put that ring on Taylor's finger and he just, shadowed his former self all of a sudden. So, yeah, I mean, and that could have been like, that was a absolute game changer right there. It swung the momentum completely because Kansas City, that was goal line. Like, that happened on the goal line, that juggle into the hands of Andrew Makuba, the safety for my Eagles, and returned it like 41 yards or something to set the Eagles up. But like, if Kansas City scores there, it's a completely different game. So Travis Kelce, oh, you nasty in a bad way. Sorry, fella.
And just because I'm a jerk, the Bears offense, you nasty.
You nasty and not the way we want to be.
No, not at all. So,
No.
Bravonians, those are our OU nasties for the week. If we miss some, which I'm sure we did, there's so many games, it's impossible to see them all. But drop a like, drop a comment, let us know who your nasty player of the week was.
Yes, sir. So let's talk about week 3, man. We got some great matchups coming up. Let's hype them. I mean, I'm really kind of looking forward to Thursday night football. I want to see the Buffalo Bills put up 75 points on Miami. I don't think this game's going to be particularly close. So, what do you think?
I totally agree. I think if you look at the last couple of years and the history that we've seen there, typically high scoring for at least one team
Yeah,
of the two. It's the Bills.
yeah.
But I'm happy about that because I have Josh Allen and James Cook in fantasy. So ring it up, boys. But
I've got Keon Coleman and James Cook in a couple of my pools. So yeah, I'm really hoping we get 3 touchdowns out of both of those guys.
that's fair. But I think why we're talking about this game this week is we kind of touched on it already, right? It's okay. The Bills defense has been suffocating. The Dolphins have been struggling, although they kind of figured it out a little bit in last week's game. But again, there's a lot at stake here for the Dolphins. You can't get 3 games behind in the division against the Bills, for one. Two, what job security is going to be left, and are we going to see a massive overhaul of this team?
Yeah.
Because they're kind of stuck in this limbo of we've got these aging vets, we've got these young guys that don't really know how to win yet, and we've seemingly got a coach that's just weird as hell and can't win the room over. So what happens moving forward?
I mean, this is going to be a long year for Miami. They're 0-2 and they're already net point differential of minus 31. So they're not only losing, they're getting beat. And so,
Right.
yeah, I mean, we might be talking about Mike McDaniel's job security within the next, couple weeks.
I do hope it's a close game. It is in Miami, so you can never really count out that home field advantage,
Could be
but
hot, yeah.
it could be hot. But I think, yeah, in the end, the Bills come out on top. So one game though that should be pretty big slobber knocker of the week, and we just kind of prefaced it, but it's the Rams versus the Eagles. Little rematch of the playoffs last year
Yeah,
when the Rams probably
NFC
should have pulled
divisional
it
round
out.
rematch, my guy. And both teams 2-0. This game could be the game of the week.
I agree. You got two really good defenses, two NFC powerhouses that are going to be vying for the top spot, right? So
Hmm.
a lot at stake early in the season for these two teams to not put a one in the loss column.
Well, I think that Rams defense that we talked about and gave known capacity this week, it'll be interesting to see how they show up against the Philly offense and see if they can, stop that tush push or stop Saquon. But they did a terrible job of slowing down Saquon last year. You remember the few games they played against him, Saquon went wild, a couple hundred yards in each game. So,
Right.
and then in the playoffs, that was just crazy. A couple of long runs against them there. So if they can shut down Saquon, they'll have a good chance at beating my Eagles here this week. But they haven't shown that they've been able to do that anytime recently. So
Well, and that's true, but I do think if they're able to shut down Saquon, then this game's really going to come down to quarterback play,
yeah,
right? And who can manage the ball a little bit better. Obviously, you got the gunslinger in Matthew Stafford and the guy that loves to use his legs in Jalen Hurts, right?
yeah,
So
yeah.
I think the coaching strategies and how the game plan for either quarterback is going to be the pivotal factor in this matchup.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Jalen Hurts knows how to handle the Rams defense. I think Matthew Stafford's a veteran that knows how to handle any defense. So this could be a fun game to watch. Could be a bit of a shootout. It could also be a defensive battle too, right? We talked about the Rams defense. The Eagles had the best defense in the year last year, so I don't really know what we're going to get out of this game. But I think coaching strategies are going to play a significant role in this. I think it's going to come down to what Sean McVay is able to do, and I think. You talk a lot about what Nick Sirianni brings to the table. I think Vic Fangio, the defensive coordinator, he dials it up. He dialed up a pretty good game plan against the Rams each time they saw them last year, and I kind of look for more of the same this year. So we'll see.
Okay, keep this receipt. I know what's going to happen in this game.
Okay.
Devontae Adams pop off game. Here we
Yeah.
go. Yeah, man.
What are you thinking? What are we talking for stat line here?
Ooh, I don't know if he'll go over 100, but I think he'll have 80 and 2 tutties.
80 and 2 teddies. We don't really have a. I could see it happening, unfortunately, because we don't really have a top tier second cornerback. We got Quinyon Mitchell on the one side. He's going to be on Puka all night. Who's going to cover Devontae? Adoree Jackson's looked like a fucking turnstile this year so far. So I don't know. Yeah, you're right. Devontae could break out, man.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Love it. Well, the other game that has some potential for game of the week,
Yeah.
it's probably more than like, well, I don't know. I shouldn't say that. The last time we played them, the Ravens absolutely curb
Yeah, it
stomped my
wasn't pretty.
Lions. It
Wasn't
wasn't good. But I have a feeling my Lions like to get revenge on people. And so I have a feeling it's going to be a pretty high scoring game back and forth. Probably going to come down to who has the ball in their hands last, at least I hope. But obviously, anytime you're facing Lamar and Henry and Flowers, it's a pretty scary day for you.
Yeah, good luck stopping that Ravens offense. You're gonna have to bite some kneecaps for sure.
Well,
But
luckily they have to try and stop ours too. So,
well, that's true. Jared Goff and the Lions coming off 52, putting up a 52 spot against the Bears. So obviously the Ravens have a slightly better defense than the Chicago Bears. So we'll see. But
well, do they
yeah,
though? I don't know. The
I think
Bears
they do.
defense is pretty good.
It's
We lit
okay.
them up for sure, but I
Yeah,
mean, I
I
think
think
we
the Ravens have
also,
a slightly better defense.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's a little bit different when you're playing in the division too, right? It's tendencies of players, but I think again, some of these games here early could be potential playoff previews, right? And obviously, if Detroit's line up against the Ravens in the big game at the end of the year, but definitely these cross conference games matter a lot, right? You got to win those for sure, especially this early in the year.
Absolutely, and yeah, I mean Detroit's looking to still remain those top teams in the NFC, right? And this is if you want to stay, in the conversation of okay, we're a top NFC team. These are the games you got to come out and win, and you
Absolutely.
got to go into Baltimore and like it was kind of the same last year with Philly, and then going into playoffs and facing teams like the Packers and the Rams and the Commanders. Like if you want to be on top, you got to beat the best.
Mhm.
And so I think Detroit's in that conversation, but I think obviously if you fall to 1-2 here and you go a loss against the Ravens is going to go a long way towards, especially if the Packers are able to go to 3-0 this week, right? So
Right. Well, especially like if you think about your game, like one of you guys is going to 3-0,
yeah,
right? So you
yeah,
you can't afford to be 1-2 if you really want to be in that conversation of the top seed.
exactly,
So
exactly.
yeah, it's gonna be a great Monday nighter, that's for sure.
Well, and you say that like Detroit and Baltimore are both 1-1, so one of those teams is going to be 1-2
Yeah.
after this game. So that I mean that sets you back no matter what conference, what division you're in. You don't want to you don't want to be below 500 at any point, especially with two
No,
great teams like that, right? But
but I don't
we're
think
still
one.
early, but
Yeah, I don't think 1-2 is necessarily a death sentence.
no,
Like
of course not.
especially in the NFC, AFC maybe,
Yeah,
but NFC. Well, this year's looking a little bit different, with especially in that West division. But
yeah.
we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But maybe one more game that maybe we don't really have to talk about, but probably should mention is the Cincinnati Bengals versus the Minnesota Vikings.
Oh yeah, I
And
definitely want to talk about this.
and the only reason we're really bringing it up is because they're kind of two teams that are looking to rebound from early season setbacks, right? Both teams lost their starting quarterbacks last week. Obviously, the Bengals one's a little bit more significant, I
Mhm.
think, than the Vikings. But you got some veteran quarterbacks that are going to step up in place and battle one another. One of them being your boy Carson Wentz, and then of course Jake Browning for the Bengals, who seemingly doesn't do anything but win. So who knows?
Yeah, I mean, this was supposed to be Joe Burrow versus JJ McCarthy. Instead, we're going to get Jake Browning versus Carson Wentz. I think it's
Almost the
still,
same.
I think, yeah, pretty much the same. I think it's still going to be a good game, and you hear a lot of talk where it's Justin Jefferson versus Jamar Chase, and both, catching passes from backup quarterbacks. So this will be the game where, whoever has the better stat line is proven to be the better receiver. And I don't
Good
know that
point.
it's that cut and dry. I don't know that you can, chalk, one game up to oh well, this guy's the better receiver now. I don't think you can definitively say that, but I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how what kind of stat lines they're able to put up catching passes from their backups.
Right. So what do you think is going to be the deciding factor in this game then? Like what team has the edge?
I think Mini at home. I think Mini plays well at home. I'd like to give them the edge. They've got that advantage playing indoors there. They're pretty comfortable there. And again, it's a situation where they're 1-1 in a division where if Green Bay goes to 3-0, if you fall to 1-2, you don't get that far behind this early in the season. So they're going to be a little bit more desperate, I think, than Cincy. So, what do you think?
Right. Yeah, I think since you can afford to at least lose one or two, right? They
Yeah,
started 2-0.
yeah,
To your point with Minnesota, right? Especially if Detroit wins on Monday night, like that's 2-1. Now you're 1-2, and then you're chasing the Packers too if they seemingly win. Like the
yeah.
the Packers don't have that bad of a matchup this week.
Hmm.
Um, but what's interesting here too is that Aaron Jones got hurt last week. He's just been placed on the IR as well. So They got Jordan Mason, who they just got from the 49ers, who, when he had to step up for CMC last year, looked really
He was
great until
really
he
good.
got hurt.
Yep.
So I don't think that the Vikings are going to take a step back in the running game. So I think they're probably going to lean heavily on that. And then if they can take the top off the defense with JJ here and
Yeah.
there, then that's probably going to be a good recipe for success. And, I think in these moments, you probably got to trust Carson Wentz a little bit more than you trust Jake Browning, right?
I would think so. Carson Wentz has been around a lot longer, and he's won a lot more. He's had some winning seasons for sure. He was a front runner for MVP the first year that the Eagles won the Super Bowl back, the 2017 season. So,
How many times are you going to bring that up?
as many times as I can, big dude.
Uh,
But the thing with Minnesota that also is kind of interesting is they may get JJ back next week, maybe a couple weeks, but they get Jordan Addison back next week.
mhm.
And so if they can get themselves to 2-1, they get their secondary receiver back, who's very, very good. Jordan Addison's a very good receiver, and all of a sudden the Vikings are looking a little bit dangerous. So yeah,
The
they
one
want to
thing
win
I
big
know,
this one.
if they could win with Sam Darnold, they can win with Carson Wentz. So
I think so too. I think so
absolutely.
too. I think Carson's a better quarterback, honestly, but
Sure.
maybe I'm a bit biased.
No worries. So those are some of our hype games for week 4. Please let us know who you
Week
think.
3. Quit rushing the season away here, guy.
I'm sorry. Yeah, it's short enough. I don't
Yeah, exactly.
don't want to wisp it away.
It's only week 3.
My bad. My bad. But yeah, drop us a comment, roast us if you want about our key matchups this week, and let us know who you like. And why don't we move on? Another section that maybe our Bravonians can comment on as well, make fun of us a little bit. But why don't we move on to our locks and dogs of the week?
They don't need to. I mean, they can like and comment and make fun of you all they want, but I'm going to do it. So
That's fair. I wouldn't expect anything less.
locks and dogs, buddy. Who you got for your lock? You're 2-0 on your locks this week. So who you got? Who you got this week?
Locks, I'm doing all right. And I think I'm going to take a little page out of Brooksy's book here. And I'm going to pick the Bills.
Why not?
Why not? It's the locks, right?
Take the heavily favored lock.
Take
there
the
you go.
heavily favored lock.
Stay in that win column. Well, you picked Denver last week, and they won for you to go to 2-0, or 2-0 in your locks. So the
No, I didn't
one
pick Denver last week.
did you not?
No, I picked Denver week 1.
Oh yeah.
Who did I take last week?
Sorry, it was the Rams.
Rams, yes.
Rams in week 2 you took, and they got it done for you. So you're going with the Bills. I gotta know who your dog is because you're 0-2 on dogs now this year. You're 0-2.
But I got a good feeling about this one.
You went with who'd you go with last week? Oh, you went with the Kansas City Chiefs.
I went with the Chiefs.
And my Eagles
And if
smashed
it
them.
wasn't for fucking Travis Kelce, it may
Just
have
throwing the
happened.
game away.
But no, my dog this week, and I really got a good feeling about this one to get back in the win column.
Yep.
New England Patriots.
I like that. It's a solid pick. That's who I
think,
picked last week as my dog, and they won for me. So
Yeah, I think somewhat of I don't want to call it a favorable matchup, but they're at home against the Steelers.
Mhm.
Obviously, the Steelers were a little rattled last week, so hopefully we see more of the same this week. Because I think Vrabel's going to have these guys fired up to play a pretty storied franchise like that.
well, I'm pulling for you, dude, because 0-2 on your dogs so far this year. You're falling behind me pretty quickly. So
Yeah, but that's a crapshoot. They're a dog
Pretty.
for a reason.
pretty terrible so far. But I'm perfect so far.
here
I'm
we
just
go.
saying. 2-0 on my locks, 2-0 on my dogs. So let's go to 3-0 for both. My lock this week, buddy, the Green Bay Packers, heavily favored. I'm doing it. Whatever. I'm doing it. Heavily favored. They're going into Cleveland to play the Browns, going into the dog pound, but I really like Green Bay to move to 3-0 here. And then for my dog, underdog of the week, I may catch shit for this because they're huge underdogs, but I'm going to go with the New York Giants at home hosting the Kansas City Chiefs.
Oof.
It's a night game. It's a Sunday nighter. The Giants at home 0-2 facing the 0-2 Chiefs. I think the Chiefs go to 0-3, buddy.
What a gross
I'm taking the
nighter.
Giants.
What a gross Sunday nighter.
Right?
I hope you're right. I mean, it'd be poetic.
I think they played really well against Dallas, and I don't think KC has a whole lot going for them at the moment. So
Right. Yeah. I mean,
Look for it.
that's a pretty good call. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't mind it.
I was
Giants,
gonna go with Chicago at home against the Cowboys, but I'm gonna get a little bit riskier and take the Giants.
Is that the Giants home opener? I'm trying to remember.
I don't know. Actually, I can check here real quick while
Yeah, let's look it up real quick.
while we have the audiences. Yeah, it is their home opener. They're 0-2 on
Okay.
the road so far. Yep.
So yeah, they might be a little riled up.
Oh
Hey,
yeah.
man, that might be a good call.
Let,
I
let
wouldn't even
Russ
be mad
cook.
if it happened. I wouldn't even be mad if it happened. Just
No.
let it happen.
Yeah, exactly. I love it.
Nice. Perfect.
Okay, man, those are locks and dogs for the week. So we'll see how that plays out and touch back on it next week when we talk about week 4. But yeah, I think that's pretty much going to wrap it up for this week. What do you think?
Absolutely. Like we said, week 2, they served up some chaos, and I'm sure it's going to happen even more as we go on here. But
Yeah.
yeah, I love seeing all these rookies make a name for themselves early. Obviously, some of those teams that were expecting to win embarrassing themselves early.
Yeah.
And yes, your boys' Lions are still showing flashes. You know what's interesting actually about the Lions is they haven't lost 2 games in a row since after the first year of Dan Campbell.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So trending in the direction of a win. I like that.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
yeah. They won against the Bears, right? To not lose 2 in a row. So,
All right.
yeah,
Well, buddy,
pretty cool.
don't get too cocky though, right? There's still a long way to go, and Philly's still the team to beat. Let's be honest. So,
That's fair.
yeah, week 2 is wild. Week 3 might be even nastier. Oh, you nasty week 3. Let's go.
Nasty. So, like we said, so if you like what you heard today, hit like on the video, roast us in the comments if you want. We
Please.
love the haters.
Oh yeah.
Hit subscribe if you haven't, and please just keep watching the NFL week to week. Gives us something to talk about, and let's be real. What's better to do on a Sunday than watch football?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. 7 hours of
Especially north
commercial
of the
free.
border.
Yeah, can't wait to be back next week. We'll talk the chaos that I'm sure week 3 is going to be. Highlights from week 4. Toss in a couple fun segments again. Having a blast doing this again. Season 3, episode 3. This has been the NFLA for Calvo. I'm Brooksy. We'll see you next week. Peace.